and you're very welcome to Retina 2020, our Patient Engagement Day. And as Laura said earlier, we're delighted that we're able to host the Patient Engagement Day this year, despite all the challenges that we're living with at the moment. We considered all the options in relation to our Patient Engagement Day, and we felt that it was imperative that we ensure that we retain the day in the calendar. So thank you to everyone who has registered. We have over 300 registrations for today, and we did have a very successful Science Day yesterday, and we had over 470 people register for the Science Day. So the momentum that was created yesterday and what we hope to achieve today in our meeting, I think will help guide a very strong path for Fighting Blindness as a representative organisation for all the people in the community that we are here to serve. Firstly, I just want to express our sincere appreciation to our sponsors, because without the sponsors, we wouldn't be able to make this happen. And in particular, I want to thank Novartis for their unstilting support for many, many years for this conference. And we wish to thank them sincerely for being the headline support this year yet again. So we thank Novartis for that. In terms of what we want to achieve today, we want to talk in compelling terms because we live in a compelling world at the moment. And what we have for you today is a variety of compelling stories, life stories that people are sharing with us, and that takes great courage for them to share those life stories. We have compelling information and evidence from our presenters, both from the science world and from the world of advocacy and patient information. Also, we have the support services that we provide, and in particular, a flavour of how we have adapted to the new environment that we're living in. And we will hear from Peter, our Insight Counselling Manager, in relation to that. And then also, we will have a compelling challenge, because we are very fortunate that we're living in a time where treatments and therapies are increasingly becoming available. However, there is always the challenge of trying to get those services and those treatments and therapies funded. And we do have that challenge in relation to Luxturna. And later on in the afternoon, we'll be bringing you up to date with regard to where we are in terms of Luxturna, but also, I think more importantly, how we can use our collective voice to try and influence the state and influence the government, our local politicians, and create public awareness and understanding of the importance of gene therapies being reimbursed in Ireland. So outside of that, I want to particularly express my thanks to Fighting Blindness executive staff, particularly our research department, who took the lead in as they always have done in terms of retina, but particularly to all staff, because they have been very adaptable and very flexible in terms of the challenges that the pandemic has presented us with. Thankfully, we're all keeping safe and healthy, and we sincerely hope that you are yourselves. And whilst today is not what we would like it to be in terms of interacting with yourselves, we are delighted that we're able to host the conference, and also to host it in a way that protects your safety and health and security. So sincere thanks to everyone who has registered. So without further ado, I think it's important now to get the show on the road. And in terms of our first message of support, Evie, Baxter and Victoria Smurfit, who were at our event last year, and Evie received the Paddy Byrne Empowerment Award. And they unfortunately couldn't travel this year for the obvious reasons, but they were very keen that they would give the event a strong message of support. So Laura is going to now give us the link to the next piece of the presentation, which is that message of support from Evie Baxter and Victoria Smurfit, excellent ambassadors for Fighting Blindness and great supporters of everything that we do.
Hi everyone, I'm Evie Baxter and this is my mom,
Victoria Smurfit, and we wanted to just leave you a note saying Happy Patient Engagement Day, and we wish we were there. Why are we not there?
Corona.
and lockdown that we're all fully aware of. We just wanted to be able to say hi, and not only do we wish we were there, but we're just so proud of the work that Fighting Blindness does, to be able to keep at the center of the work family and focusing on the person and keeping that at the core of their work. Because last year was incredible, wasn't it?
Last year was amazing. That experience was so positive and personal for me.
So fingers crossed, we all get to be together again next year. Now, in the meantime, I know that we all want to come together and band together as a collective voice. You've got a voice.
I do have a voice.
It's a very loud voice.
I use it quite often.
But if we all come together, then we can help Fighting Blindness with all their incredible hard work that they're doing, trying to get Luxturna reimbursement program going. Because if we get one gene therapy over the line, please God, we get them all, because there's it would be lovely to be at the forefront of change and positive growth for everybody in the community. Most of whom we met a lot of the community, didn't we?
We did.
And how about 2021? Will we get to meet them then?
Fingers crossed.
Magic Ball says yes. Take care, have a wonderful day. We miss you all. Stay safe. From London.
Bye.
Bye.
A big thank you to Evie and Victoria for that message of support. And I do think that Evie was very engaging last year in the conference, and certainly did great work in terms of raising awareness of the needs and the work of Fighting Blindness when she did her appearance on the Late Late Show. So again, big thank you to Evie and Victoria for that message of support. The next introduction I want to make is to an individual who has international sports achievement, but also has had significant challenges in terms of reaching that level of sports achievement. In 2011, he had played 6 times for Leinster Rugby, and then something happened that changed the course of his journey in life. And what Ian McKinley, international rugby star, wants to do is share his thoughts on that journey and how those challenges have been overcome, and how he went on to do great and wonderful things as an international rugby player as well for Italy. So a big welcome to Ian, and we appreciate the time he's given in preparing his presentation for us. Thanks very much.
My name is Ian McKinley, and I am a visually impaired professional rugby player. And you might ask, how does that work? Well, when I was a kid, I always had a dream of playing international rugby. I had the ball in my hands in the garden, singing the national anthem, always wanting to play against England and beat England at home. So much so that I was playing rugby in school, and my career development was good enough that I was fortunate enough to get into the Leinster Academy. So playing with other players such as Brian O'Driscoll and Jack McGrath and all these players that have gone on to play for the British and Irish Lions. So my career path was definitely going in the right direction, playing for the Irish under-20s and various other Leinster representative teams. But my life changed and took a sudden and dramatic turn in 2010 when I was playing for my university, so UCD. And I remember just literally a couple of minutes into the game, I was wrestling for possession of the ball, went for one big rip, landed on my back, and in that split second, unfortunately, a little piece of metal in the form of a stud came into contact with my face, and more specifically my eye, and my eyeball unfortunately burst. So obviously there was a pretty serious reaction from my part. My vision completely went straight away. I actually thought it was a deliberate act, but I was rushed away to hospital where I had emergency surgery in the Royal Eye and Ear in Dublin. Thankfully, they were able to save my eye, but they did tell me that I needed a year of no activity, which is pretty difficult for me because that is the thing that I love to do the most. But I gradually got back vision, about 50 60%, which enabled me to go back onto the rugby field and play under Joe Schmidt in his first year with Leinster. But as the year went on, further complications arose in the form of cataracts, and unfortunately in 2011 my retina in my left eye fully detached, which left me permanently blind, which was an absolutely devastating blow for myself and my family around me, because they knew from when I was this little kid with a ball in my hand, that is all I wanted to do. Wanted to represent Ireland, wanted to make my country proud and my family and my friends proud. So my dream was dashed, almost nowhere to turn. At the age of 21, what do you do? Do I go to university again? Do I keep chucking away at that? Do I look for a job? Do I play another sport? I was involved in Gaelic football for many years. Do I maybe look at that? It is physical, but maybe less physical than rugby. Or do I move country? So I was fortunate enough that Leinster helped me, and actually I got a call from Italy to say, would you like to come and coach? And I went there and coached a newly found club where I was dealing with people from the age of 4 to 40. So it was a fantastic experience to learn a different language and learn how Italy does things maybe a bit differently to Ireland. But there was always this little mental battle going on in my mind. There was this little thing that just right in the back here that just wouldn't go away. And that was, you retired so young, you can still play. But I didn't want to risk the sight in my eye, because unfortunately I was gouged a couple of times on my return. So I thought, what can I do? And I remember breaking down in the arms of my brother, crying, saying, all I want to do is play rugby again. So with this bit of motivation, he became a very important person to me. And subsequently, we spoke with World Rugby. And in 2014, rugby eye protection became available for all different types of athletes. So whether you were young or old, rugby goggles became available, and I grabbed the very, very first pair of rugby goggles and stepped back onto the rugby field 3 years after my last game with Leinster. There I was playing against people maybe not in fantastic shape, because it was the lowest level of Italian rugby, but I didn't care. Subsequently, fast forward, I knew then this was the right thing to do. Physically, mentally, everything was going well for me, and I climbed the Italian ladder, so much so I got signed by a team called Benetton Treviso, who are based in a little city 30 minutes north of Venice. Not a bad place to live whatsoever. And then my dream that I had as a kid was slightly altered, but that dream was realized, of running out, singing a national anthem, playing in front of a packed stadium, making people proud, was realized in 2017 when I managed to represent Italy, because there is a rule: if you do not play for a senior international team, if you have played there for 3 years, you automatically are available for that nation. So I played against Fiji and became the first ever goggle-wearing player to play at international level and to play for my newfound nation. So vision for me is obviously very important, and it is a very delicate topic for a lot of people. And I know, as we are at the moment, there are 240,000 people in Ireland that have either visual impairments or registered blind, which is an astronomical number. So for me, this conference that is going on, the work that Fighting Blindness do, is so important. And the messages I receive weekly, every second week, from people saying that they have a similar issue, or they know someone, their son, their daughter, their mother, their father have a similar issue. And say, for example, the rugby goggles have helped them to participate not only in sport, but participate in rugby, for me has been the biggest mountain to climb, and the biggest joy that it has given me. So the Fighting Blindness team, what they continue to do, even these retina conferences, general conferences for eye care, is so important. So I hope my story today will give a little insight into what I've gone through in the last 10 years. I hope it inspires. And I hope it inspires people to never accept no for an answer, that you, particularly in the times that we are going through now, you continue fighting, you continue staying positive, and you make sure that you've got a great group of people around you to help you through these difficult times. So enjoy the rest of the conference, and thank you very much.